Greetings. Information about our history is no longer locked away in the vault and museum of colonial powers. If we are reading this on our phone, if we are capable to access liberation message, let us understand and know that this what I'm holding in my hand is much more than just a camera or a tool to access social media. It is also a library, a virtual museum, and a time machine. It is not the job of others to teach Africans their history. It is the job of us Africans to learn our history, to teach other Africans, and to shout it to the world. And we should do it without stuttering, without stammering, and without apologizing it. Straight from the African Liberation Studio, we have a special guest. In a few minutes, we're going to have a special guest, surprise guest. And this very special guest will tell us about her experience, will tell us about our experience, our history. Just hold tight as we wait for the special guest to step in and teach us and let us know about the past. Because the past, the present, and the future is nothing but a mere illusion. They are one. So let us welcome the special guest.
find you in good health, in good disposition, and enveloped with the spirit of goodness. I must confess that it had never occurred to me before to write you, and I find myself overwhelmed and moved to have this opportunity. Although circumstances have compelled me to reach out to you, I am glad to have this occasion to try and cross the boundaries that would otherwise tend to separate us. I understand that the New Jersey State Police have written to you and asked you to intervene and to help facilitate my extradition back to the United States. I believe that their request is unprecedented in history, since they have refused to make their letter to you public, although they have not hesitated to publicize their request. I am completely uninformed as to the accusations they are making against me. Why, I wonder, do I warrant such attention? What do I represent that is such a threat? Please let me take a moment to tell you about myself. My name is Asada Shakur, and I was born and raised in the United States. I am a descendant of Africans who were kidnapped and brought to the Americas as slaves. I spent my early childhood in the racist segregated South. I later moved to the northern part of the country, where I realized that black people were equally victimized by racism and oppression. I grew up and became a political activist, participating in student struggles, the anti-war movement, and most of all, in the movement for the liberation of African Americans in the United States. I later joined the Black Panther Party, an organization that was targeted by the COINTELPRO program, a program that was set up by the Federal Bureau of Investigation to eliminate all political opposition to the U.S. government's policies, to destroy the black liberation movement in the United States, to discredit activists, and to eliminate potential leaders. Under the COINTELPRO program, many political activists were harassed, imprisoned, murdered, or otherwise neutralized. As a result of being targeted by COINTELPRO, I, like many other young people, was faced with the threat of prison, underground, exile, or death. The FBI, with the help of local police agencies, systematically fed false accusations and fake news articles to the press, accusing me and other activists of crimes we did not commit. Although in my case the charges were eventually dropped or I was eventually acquitted, the national and local police agencies created a situation where, based on their false accusations against me, any police officer could shoot me on sight. It was not until the Freedom of Information Act was passed in the mid-'70s that we began to see the scope of the United States government's persecution of political activists. At this point, I think that it is important to make one thing very clear. I have advocated, and I still advocate, revolutionary changes in the structure and in the principles that govern the United States. I advocate self-determination for my people and for all oppressed people inside the United States. I advocate an end to capitalist exploitation, the abolition of racist policies, the eradication of sexism, and the elimination of political repression.
History. This is the letter that Ashata Sakur wrote to the Pope. So this is public. But put into context, I've heard that speech, but I never knew it was a letter that she wrote to the Pope of Vatican. So again, history. History is so vital for us to understand the context.
Short, I was captured in New Jersey in 1973 after being shot with both arms held in the air and then shot again from the back. I was left on the ground to die, and when I did not, I was taken to a local hospital where I was threatened, beaten, and tortured. In 1977, I was convicted in a trial that can only be described as a legal lynching. In 1979, I was able to escape with the aid of some of my fellow comrades. I saw this as a necessary step, not only because I was innocent of the charges against me, but because I knew that the racist legal system in the United States, I would receive no justice. I was also afraid that I would be murdered in prison. I later arrived in Cuba, where I am currently living in exile as a political refugee. The New Jersey State Police and other law enforcement officials say they want to see me brought to justice. But I would like to know what they mean by justice. Is torture justice? I was kept in solitary confinement for more than 2 years, mostly in men's prisons. Is that justice? My lawyers were threatened with imprisonment and imprisonment. Is that justice? I was tried by an all-white jury without even the pretext of impartiality and then sentenced to life in prison plus 33 years. Is that justice? Let me emphasize that justice for me is not the issue I am addressing here. It is justice for my people that is at stake. When my people receive justice, I am sure that I will receive it too.
This is for Brother Jordo, who's been asking me for years to make a mixtape about I read him on Ashata Shakur letter to the Pope of Rome, Vatican. So this letter was written for the Pope of Vatican, the Pope of Rome, the Pope of the entire Christianity kingdom. I never knew that. It's so important to put things in its proper context. And would have not been a student eager to explore the various layers of our experience, I would have never known. Because if I would have just relied on the information that they were giving me, I would have not understood the accurate, proper context of Ashashatu. I love history, the African history of liberation. Yes, Brother Jordo, this is for you. When in about 3 days, you're going to touch down Nairobi and you're going to share this very session to your brothers and sisters over there in Kenya. It's an honor for I to know that in our father motherland, FASIMBA is hitting the airway freely and truly and without any restriction. Strictly African style. strictly military style.
the word happy is not in the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, so it can't be that important. They've made it important to us because we spend money for happiness, all right? And we think it's everybody pick out what they want to have happiness, all right? But as I said, peace is the number one thing that creates happiness and allows all of the other things to grow and happen. But we're very lonely because of our men being so discouraged right now. Okay, some of our best brothers are in prison. Okay, they get a different education there, and we are struggling, of course, with the mental health issues that has been forced on you by living in a hostile environment your entire life. Okay, a personal rejection is very, that's hard to handle over the years. You know, many of you have been rejected by your father. Some of you have been rejected even by your mother and the entire society. That's you in there, we would hide you under the bed, in the closet, anywhere. We weren't trying to separate from you. Plus, if you got a whole project area with a lot of women and children, where did they think them children came from? Okay, there's some men in and out there some kind of way. All right, the entire objective is to keep you and me apart. Whatever the risk is, whatever the cost is, they would rather deal with that than allow us to get together. You know, when I was young, they used to say that mafia stood for Mothers and Fathers and Association. I don't know if that's true, but it makes sense, all right? Because you can always do better with a helpmate. You can do better with peace, all right? That's the greatest inspiration. I know how it affects myself. As I've written books over the years, I couldn't do them if anything else was going on. If I was waiting to pay my taxes, or if I had to go to a doctor appointment or something at the school, I could not do anything until completely everything was out of my head, everything calmed down where I was at peace, and then the ideas could come in. And creativity is like that. As I said, I know that it's like that because it just come into you, and then you have to get it out of you, no matter what it is. You know, we are creative like that. We are just, as an example, the white art museums. There's nothing but nonsense in there. We know it's still pure silliness. That art they talk about is art makes no sense. Their paintings are all, if it'll be maybe exactly like something. Now, they like that realism because then they don't have to create nothing. Just paint the apple, and there it is, and it's already an apple there, you know. But it comes up out of you. You don't have to have that kind of inspiration. If you can get cooled out, it bothers you so long until you have to get it out. This is what creativity, this is how greatness works for us. And so many of us are so talented, so great, so wonderful. And, you know, we're different. We really are, because you can see the way many of us wear our hair, the way many of us have a certain kind of nose, the way many of us wear certain jewelry. That's all different tribes. We wasn't one tribe that came to America, and so we have those things still in us. And we try to express them, even with the long hair. And I know that's, you know, that's not the best thing we need to do, is to put all that different fake stuff in our hair. But who has been the model of beauty for the black woman in America? Who has been the model for hair for the black woman in America? black woman. So we want our hair like hers. We want to mimic that. That was our motto. And we don't, we want to make it black, colored hair. But then too, you know, we got slews of black women who have blonde hair, who are getting skin lightness. The self-hate we have been taught, you almost can't, how you quantify that? Okay, and the more false stuff we have on, the more we hate ourselves. That's what that shows. You even got the brothers now getting weaves and getting braids and everything. We are not making the kind of progress we think we are.
What do you say to people who always say we are making progress? People would love to say that we're making progress. Race is no longer an issue. People are doing great.
What is no longer an issue?
People say race is no longer.
Oh, that's
an issue.
crazy. That's ridiculous.
I know
race is
you
no
heard
longer an
that.
issue. Race is the only issue, and everything else just was lined up after that. But I have talked with people who have a similar idea that things are so much better now. Well, it depends on what kind of equation you're setting up. If you're saying that they're not coming to our door at night, pulling us out and lynching.
Yes, hail to Shahrazad Ali. For those who know a little bit about her, I remember in the 90s when her books fueled wildfire sensation. Again, get to take some step back to study the past, because without studying and understanding that very past is what shaped us, define us. So again, I love history. I mean, obsessed with the past and history. And I love the present. And I'm so impatient about the future. Great future await us. Our victory is certain. With the type of brothers and sisters we have, we cannot lose. There ain't no way. That's why I'm optimistic about tomorrow. So optimistic because it's written that the future belongs to us. We just need to get ourselves within that path of thinking and forward ever. Truly. Yes, this is for Brother Jodo out of Kenya. He's about to reach Nairobi, Kenya, and he asked me to do a session in his honor, and including Ashata Shakur, meet the African Vanguard Uproot sound system in a truly African liberation style. And it's not a coincidence that this very tune title is African Liberation. Most of the time I just pick the music without paying attention to them titles. So I've been dealing with them music for at least 35, 40 years. So it's like a second nature to I and I. So I happen just to double check the title of this very tune that we are hearing and playing and enjoying. And guess what? It's called African Liberation. The truth and reality cannot be more factual as they truly are. This thing is real. Tune entitled The Battlefield, African Style. When it comes to R&I music, it's all about the power of discernment. Lion style.
Circulating that white woman. say them black women.
Yo, you need to get up and go somewhere and clean yourself up and be white.
But it's really not like that. That white privilege that they talk about is real. That's very real. And
we practice a little of it with each other on the lighter skins and the darker skins. You know, we ate every idea they fed us. We ate it, even though it was all against self. They taught us to want that. And we still continue to do that now. We have learned to practice the technology.
Yes, we'll have another session that will be truly dedicated for all these topics. Right now, I was just trying to live up to my words about sharing Asata Shakur letter to the Pope of Rome, Vatican, on the liberation beat of FASIMBA. And I just buck up on the great sister Asharazad Ali, a great sister. She was, same level as Wilson. Yeah, these are the great minds that allow us to move with more clarity, intelligence, and knowledge. You got to move with intelligence, clarity, and knowledge, and sobriety beyond all. Well, that's the African way, you know, strictly clarity style, knowledge and intelligence. Make no mistake. There is no magic trick, no magic wonder. Strictly clarity, sobriety, intelligence, focus, discipline. True African liberation style. Kenyatta, that's the name. You see, we're just talking about Kenya, and here buck up Kenyatta. Yes, Aya. Give thanks, the honor is all mine.
So we have distrust of each other. You know, you gonna trick me, or I'm gonna trick you. Just all kind of nonsense that we cannot dig up out of it until we give them their God back. We can't do it. It's just impossible. You can't hold on to everything that they stand for and then say you're gonna make a change, because everything that they stand for is designed to destroy us.
And using our standards based on their standards.
They're not the same. Your nature's not the same as his. Have the natural feelings of sympathy and everything. They don't have none of that. It's not. Nobody never said that to you. And you have been beat down and so discouraged that it's very difficult. But I want you to know that you will be the winner. You are the original man. God didn't make everybody and then make you. He made you first. And everybody was modeled after you on some level. That's real talk. That ain't to soothe your ego. These are actual facts that if we could get our men to understand and accept, and I know it don't look like it now. I know some of the guys in the gutter. I know some of them in prison, some of them on drugs, some of them out here acting ignorant, some of them pretending to be a woman. But that does not change the foundation of who you are and who made you.
Yes, original FASIMBAS session. Again and again. I just love it. I just love the challenge, the difficulty, close to defeat, when everything seems to be going against we. All of a sudden, victory. That's how it goes. It's not about overestimate oneself or being so overconfident. No, no, no. We're better than that. Forward ever, backward never. And it's not about one, it's about the collective.